All right, so in this video, we are going to learn about the most important programming concepts, which is the if statements. So let's get started. So before we dive into if statement, we have to understand what is called the control flow. Like we use it in our day-to-day lives when we talk about things. For example, um, if I'm thirsty, I drink water. So there's this control flow. If a specific condition is being met, I do a specific action. So that is the I don't think I need to write and just make you understand more of this thing. So we have this condition. So based on this condition, there is two values. If the condition is met, then it is true. If the condition is not met, then it is false. For the example, if I am thirsty, I drink water. So if I am thirsty is true, then I do the water. I drink the water. So if the condition is true, we do specific action. Let's say action 1. And if the condition is false, we do action 2. So we do two different actions when when we think about a condition. So um so again, coming back to the example, so if I am thirsty, so if this condition is true, then I perform the action 1, which is to drink water. And if I am thirsty is equals to false, which is I'm not thirsty, then we do the condition number 2, which is actually do nothing, wait for me to become thirsty and then drink water. So nevertheless, so that is how the control flow actually works in programming as well, like in day-to-day life. So if you have notice the wording that I've used, that I have used the if word in our my sentence in our example. The if I'm thirsty, so if the sun rises, if it rains, then I'm not going out. So the if is very important when we're dealing with logical things, and programming is is the fundamental thing about programming is the if statements. So let's get back into code, and a bit later, I'm going to show you a bit of the if statements here, and then we can go in the code as well. So we do the if statements basically like this: if am underscore thirsty, then drink water. This is the programmatically way to write it. Else means if I am not thirsty, if I'm thirsty, I need to check the else and the if else. I'm going to come back to these again, but normally we check if I'm thirsty or not. So we don't check if I'm not thirsty. You don't understand the difference. You have to understand the difference. Like I have to check if I'm thirsty or not. So if I'm thirsty, do the drink water, and else if I'm not, if this specific thing comes out to be false, then we do the else, whatever it's written in the else part. So that's what I'm trying to make you understand. So let's go into the code, and then I think you get I guess more clear. Let's go to the smaller one, to the computer, where we will actually see the if statements in action and how it is written programmatically in Python. So we first define a state. We have to know the state beforehand. We have to define a state, which is the state. For example, in our example, it is in the age being 15. This is the initial state. So we have to tell the program to check if the age is something else and then do accordingly. All right, so the age is I have to check if the age, if the person is an adult or a minor. So if you're above the age of 18, you're an adult. If you're below, then you're minor. So we check using the comparator operator that we seen in the last video. We check if the age is 18, greater than or equals 18 or not. So if this specific condition that we are seeing, if this is met, then we print this line. Then we know that the age equals the value of age here being an adult. And else, if this fails, then we will print this line, and which says that the age of 15 is considered as a minor. We know what is going to happen, but this is the major normally we do in if statements. We check using the word if a specific condition. There can be multiple conditions in this line, so we check and unless each of the condition is met using different Boolean functions. If this is met, then we go into this part of the code, and if else we go this part of the code. Likewise, we have another part here. If the age is 20, which is actually an adult, this will print something else here in this case. Now we have some there. This is the example. This is actually generated by an AI, which I do not actually want to have because there's a loop inside it, and I don't want to show you the loop just yet. There is another thing called the if. Yes, this part, age 13, teenager. Yeah, right. So we can have like multiple conditions in a specific different if statements. So for example, we have the age, we check if the age is over 18 or not. Then if this does not meet, you have to understand the series of operations. The firstly, we will not directly check something from the middle. We will check, the program will check from the top, from the first if statement. So it will check if the age is over 18 or not, then it will print this one if that condition is met or not. So if this condition is not met, then it will move on to the next elif. Elif is just short from else if we give a second and a different condition. If this comes out to be false, then we check the next condition. If this is true, then it will print this. If this is false, and if there are other elif statements, there can be many elif statements, and if everything is not met, then at the end we cannot actually think of any other conditions. This can be a reason we cannot think of any other conditions, and this part will be triggered when everything else is actually false, 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 false. Right. There's another thing called the nested loops. Sorry, nested. There is no example for nested. This is another example of elif. There are two elif. Let me go through this example. For example, here we have the username to be Alice and the password to be secret. So these are two text variables, and this is what the state holds. And now the user enters the username to be Alice and the password to be password. So it is actually correct. Whatever there is in the system, the user also enters the correct credentials. So in this regard, if these two are the same, and we're using the AND operator because we're checking these different conditions together. So this is actually a condition of its own. We have to check if the double equals, according to the last video, we saw that double equals will return if this and this part is equal, the username and the entered user is equal or not. So this will actually return a true or false. And we have to also this is a condition A, and this is a condition B. The entered pass and the password, is it equal or not? Is it the same or not? So if condition B, this one, and condition A, this one, is both true, so and I'm using the word and here and the and operator. If these both are true, then it is logged in, print logged in. So else if one of them is not true, both of them are not the same, we have to match with the and here. Both the username and password is wrong. So if the entered username is not equals to the username, the wrong username, else there's just one condition left, which is the wrong password. So we give the last bit to be the wrong password. So one thing I want to show you, that you can have multiple if statements. For example, sorry, you can have multiple if statements in inside of each other. It's called nesting. So I'm going to show you an example. For example, we are trying to find if the age is over 18, and if it's a boy or a girl, and if the name is Tom, for example. So let's say gender equals the female, and sorry, okay, name equals Alice. Okay, so this can be the thing. So we have for example, this specific if statement is met, and then we move on to a different statement. If, then we have this part here. Okay, so if this specific if statement is met, then we move on to what is inside of the if block. So this lines of code is called the if block, and if this specific condition is met, then we go into this part of the code, we execute this part of the code. So in this part of the code, we see another if statement, and we do the same thing. If this specific part of the if this part of the if statement is true and met, then we move on to what's inside of the if block, which is this specific line of code. And if there were more lines of code out in this block, then we execute those lines as well. So there can be, of course, else blocks in here as well. So you can nest everything everything down like this. That's not a problem. You can nest things down, but you need to follow the proper flow. What was it called? The control flow. So what happens is that the program first goes into the age, checks the age. If it's matching or not, then it goes inside of the if block and then do the following things in order in the control flow. That's how the programming language works. So I guess let me see into my notes. I have completed the nested condition. This is called the nested conditions. And yeah, that's it. So there are specific, like, traps which you will actually face when you, like, more practice more programming, and then you will have to know about them. I cannot, like, mention all of the traps of, like, if statements. Sometimes, like, the conditions that you set for the if statements, they are wrong, because, for example, you are looking for someone who has the age, the age has to be, like, greater than 18, and the age has to be less than 10. That's an impossibility. That's a logical impossibility. A person cannot have the both age be, like, above 18 and below 10. That's an impossibility. So this is one of the, like, the logical traps that you can find yourself in when you're dealing with if statements and, like, defining condition also. But other than that, it's just, like, very easy to understand. And in the next video, we are going to, like, learn about loops, like how why we use loops, and, like, what's the, like, process of repeating it multiple times. A general idea, like general exercise for you to understand the importance of loop is just you have this, like, Python code. This is just a, suppose this is a, like, first line of Python code, and then you just print you just print some numbers, for example 1 to 100. So you just print 1, and then you print 2. And I want, like, the purpose of this exercise can be, like, in the terminal, print the numbers 1, 2, 3, 4 till 100. So see how long it takes you to do with normal print statements, and then you will, like, perfectly understand the importance of using loops, which we will cover in the next video. And so until then, we, like, subscribe, and if you have any question, feel free to let me know, and I will see you in the next one.